So any regular followers of my YouTube channel and my Forever Blue vlogs will know that on Champions League nights and indeed in the FA Cup, I cover the games for Indian television, Sony 6 in India, and tonight is no exception. So it means I'm down on the touchline before the game, around about 70 minutes or so before kick-off, just before the teams are announced. I'll be down here broadcasting to Indian viewers over there, and tonight I'll be alongside a fellow journalist who has a bit more of a neutral perspective of what the game's all about. So I'll be popping outside and trying to find some fans on this rainy and slightly windy night in just a moment. But first of all, hear from my fellow broadcaster and fellow journalist from France.
I think it's a fascinating tactical battle to start with between Tuchel and Guardiola on the pitch. Tuchel has had some good games since he took over Nagelsmann. He beat Dortmund, of course, big game. He lost in the cup against Freiburg. He beat then Freiburg in the league at the weekend more convincingly, I would say. That was a really good performance collectively, even if they only won 1-0. So I expect a big tactical battle between the two managers. I think City have to be the favourite because they're home here for this first leg and they've got so much momentum, 8 wins in a row now in all competitions. I think they look like the old City maybe from when they put those runs together. And for Bayern, the talent is there. I think Nagelsmann was not getting the best maybe out of this team collectively and individually. But they're going to be very dangerous. There's Sadio Mane coming back here, Joao Cancelo coming back here, of course. Leroy Sané coming back here as well. So there's a lot of narratives everywhere. But for me, City, if you want to put a percentage, will have to be slight favourite here, 60-40.
And obviously we know that there'll be a big worldwide audience, not least in India where we're broadcasting to tonight. I'm told that it can be 40 million for the final, maybe 20 million tonight. It's a big audience, isn't it?
It's huge, but it is, of all the ties, I think this is the best one really. Yeah, Real Madrid Chelsea is going to be good. The two Italian clubs facing each other is good. The Benfica Inter is a good one as well, but this is it. I mean, this is what we pay to watch football. This is the best of the best. Tuchel against Guardiola, all the superstars, De Bruyne, Haaland playing again against Bayern. So all of that is going to be fascinating, great. So we are in the best place possible, and people who are watching us in India are in the best place possible as well.
Tonight is obviously a big game. I'm covering the game for Indian television.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a huge audience in England. Do you get nervous on nights like this?
Do you know what, Ian? One of the lucky things is that I don't really get nervous. I guess I started my career on kids' telly when I was 20 years old. I'm now 44. And I think when you become a parent and you've got a couple of kids and you see the way that life evolves, you realise that actually, although this is like a big deal covering a Champions League match, it's nothing to be nervous or scared or worried about. It's just a privilege and a pleasure to stand here and watch some of the greatest players in the world.
Is it compared to, I know you did Formula One for a long time as well, and you interviewed people like Schumacher and whatnot, and now it's Haaland, etc. Is it any different for you?
I think the only thing with football is that the scrutiny is bigger. This is the biggest sport in the world. The Champions League is the biggest competition in the world. And I think even when you're in Formula One, which is exciting and dramatic and, quite glamorous, it's nothing like the scale of football. Nothing beats a big live Champions League night under the lights in a city like Manchester. It really is the best of the best.
And you know what partisanship's like? You're a Norwich fan, aren't you?
I'm a Norwich fan, I'm afraid, yeah. Your Indian viewers won't know an awful lot about Norwich City, I don't think. But yeah, we try and get to this level and don't manage it. But yeah, you've got to support the club from where you're from, I think. And so yeah, Norwich it is for me.
Enjoy the evening.
Top man, cheers Ian.
So we're out in the rain now, and you can see these guys behind me. They're called playmakers, and tonight they're giving out ponchos. It's going to be a little bit wet.
Listen, we've got to take a 2-goal cushion back to Munich. I don't think that we can afford to do what we did against Real Madrid last year and go over to the second leg with a 1-goal lead. Not good enough really that from us last year, and it in effect punished us in the end. So we've got to learn from that. We've got to go and get a 2-goal lead, and if we can do that, I think we'll be absolutely fine. What I would say is that we are more than good enough to beat this Bayern Munich side, and I think that if we turn up, do the business at home in front of our fans, we can do it.
It's windy and rainy tonight. Does that make any difference to the outcome?
No, not at all. But both teams know what we're playing at. I think we're looking at a couple of goals to take over Germany with us, and we'll be there here. Do you know what I mean?
I think that will be 2-1 for City.
Will that be enough then, with the second leg still to come in Germany?
Maybe not, but will be hard game.
I reckon City 2-0, 2-1. Haaland brace. don't think Bayern Munich are anywhere near as good as what they used to be. City in form.
So over the 2 legs, you're fairly confident by the sounds
Oh,
of it?
I think, yeah. Actually, wouldn't rule out a good 2-3-0 tonight. Leg ties over.
Do you worry about Real Madrid if City get through, or is this the year for City?
Could be City's year, at least the final. Yet again, don't think Real Madrid is as good as what they were when we played them last year. Last year, the game was there in hands, they just blew it into a mad 2 minutes, game was gone. I think this time round, City, more composed, get to the final. I think whoever playing the final, Napoli at a push. And I think they'll play Napoli, that'll be an easy 3-4-0.
You seem very relaxed about it all, since you're going to do the treble then.
Treble's on. Sheffield United, that's an easy one. And then United or Brighton in the final. I've been more worried about playing Brighton than United. Treble's on. Guardiola we trust.
I think it could go either way. I think if we take this one and win by a lot, we'll go through to the next round. I think if it's a close one, we're not going to do much away. So hopefully we're looking at a 3-4-1, something like that. But
Realistically, do you think that could happen tonight?
yeah. The way they've been playing the last few games, yeah.
What about the Cancelo factor and the Tuchel factor? Does that come into it? Are you worried?
No, I don't worry. I don't think that matters about it. I think because De Bruyne and Grealish have come, to that level at the same time, I think it could be easily a 3-1 game tonight. So my only concern though is the goalkeeper for us. Yeah, I think he's right. I think his toes on his left foot must be pointing opposite way because he can't kick a ball. So, but up front, he can easily put a few away.
I think we've gone into this game really as favourites, but I mean, I still see Bayern as a big threat. They're a really good team. In Europe, even if they're having domestic struggles, which they're not now because they've won a couple of games, but if they're not, they're a bit like Real Madrid. They always seem to be able to turn it on in Europe. So we've got to be on our guard, but a bit more confident than I would be if I was playing them a couple of seasons ago, though. 2-0 tonight.
Do you worry about? We don't know the team as you're talking to me now, but if Sane plays, if Cancelo plays, have they got extra motivation? Are you worried about them too?
Cancelo's a weird one. I mean, maybe there is motivation there. I mean, Sane just worries me because he was a great player when he played for us. I believe he's not been doing it as well over there, but I still think he can do a lot of damage to us. Cancelo's a weird one. If he turns it on the day, he's terrific. If not, he could end up stinking the place out.
One goal in the first half then, still all to play for.
World class. From start to finish, world class. I couldn't put a single name on that said of anyone who played badly. That was superb football. The passing play, the directness of it all, just absolutely superb. That was the best quarter-final in Champions League I think I've seen from a City team. Brilliant football.
I've just been telling the listeners and viewers in India that all the 11 players stretch for every ball. Like when I was a youngster and I'd play a sport, I might not be very good at it. These guys, by the way, are brilliant. But I'd stretch for everything and never give up. And it feels like that's what all 11 of this team does.
Yeah, exactly that. There was a moment over there where Diaz, he blocked the ball and he did the splits, and I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe he stretched that far to do that, and every player just has that desire to go and get the ball, and it's just, we were world class today. It was fantastic. I couldn't believe it.
City going to win the Champions League? Are they going to do the treble?
I wouldn't say that. City fans are naturally pessimistic, I am, but I'd say we've got a good chance after this game, but Bayern Munich at the Allianz is a different kettle of fish, so we'll just have to wait and see, because we've been stung in the past before with Real Madrid last season, so these aren't a pushover side. It's not like we made them look rubbish today, but in fact they were quite good, so we'll see what happens, but you cross your fingers, don't you?
Well, I think tonight Guardiola's tactics were superb. I think Bernardo playing made a massive difference. I think he kept Alphonso Davies very quiet, and I think that was absolute masterclass. And I think this back three with John Stones coming forward has paid dividends tonight. I think the back four, maybe even the back five, I think Eddie had a good game tonight, but I think the four at the back were immense. This is a great side we played tonight, and they didn't play badly. But I think we just were immense in those departments and clinical. I think maybe we had 4 or 5 maximum chances, 3 of them in. Some great stuff. The crowd as well were immense. No drum over there as well, which is always great for me. I know you like it, but I don't. And that kept them quiet. So I think they looked a bit frustrated. I think Tuchel was very animated in front of us here. And I'm looking forward to next week a bit more than I thought I would, if I'm honest. But no chicken's been counted. We know there's an awful lot to do to get past them and the next round. But I'm starting to think about what I'm doing in the next few weeks. A little bit of a good sign that tonight. 3's a great result. Well,
so we've come along here to the game to watch the Man City against Bayern. Always a brilliant, entertaining game when you come here, and thankfully the score was on my side tonight.
Why? What difference did that make?
So we put a bet on 3-0 with Rodri to score, and it ended up being quite a nice one.
Can I ask how much you had on it?
A tenner.
And what were the odds?
85-1.
So the drinks are on you then?
The drinks are on.
And how good was the performance? I mean, you perhaps had a bit more of a neutral head on, did you?
They're just a fantastic team. Very good all throughout. Rodri from the back, sitting midfielder, just plays the game. He's got everything and everything around him. Grealish has probably been the best player in the league for the last 4 months, if not more. Massive team, huge, got everything.
Do you think they're going to win it then?
Who's going to stop them? Other than potentially Real Madrid, who are good on this occasion. Can't see anybody else.
That was a sterling performance. That's as good as we've seen him playing a long time, isn't it, Mike?
It was what it was the ultimate team performance.
Yeah.
I thought when Munich bring on players like Cancelo and they've got Leroy Sané, that's what Pep's all about. He has players like Bernardo and John Stones and Ake and all that who fight, who are a team. And we've just come right at the right time. And everyone else must be absolutely bricking it.
We were trying to work out who the man of the match was. I reckon there was 7 contenders for man of the match. And it was John Stones, right?
I think 8.
That's who it was.
It could have been any of them.
Someone told us it was John Stones.
I think he won it in the stadium, yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, it could have been one of 7 or 8 players there, which is quite rare. It's normally a standout performance, isn't it? But they all played so well, we couldn't work out who it would be. So it shows you what a good team performance that was.
You two have been watching City all over Europe.
Yes.
Through all these years. You were there 93-20. You know, you've seen it all. How does this team right now compare to everything you've seen before?
I think this is the best team, you know, and a stressed team. Although I thought the Mancini was a team too. Pellegrini never really had a team. He had a lot of great individuals, didn't he?
And they've all brought something, magic moments to us all.
Yeah, of course.
I think they've all, I mean, how could you, listen, we've all had magic times with all those different teams. And I'm sure these boys are going to give us more magic, aren't they, really?
They could win the treble, you know.
Yeah, well, we'll take that. But even if they don't, they're still giving us beautiful football week in, week out. So, you know.
I think this is just... Listen, I hate to say this, but when we used to watch United under Ferguson, in their glory years, they had a team where even if the best players dropped out or got injured or whatever, they had that system in it. These players don't want the ball to go out of play. When the ball was going out of play down there, they're like, give me the ball, I want to take the strike. They're so hungry, and he's instilled such a hunger and such a winning mentality with.
And they're gutted when they get substituted as well.
Total abundance.
You can see
Kevin
gutted.
was really
yeah, you can see that,
happy.
and that's a good thing instead of all right, yeah. But yeah, you can see that they're ill with it.
He took the world's greatest playmaker off and brought Alvarez on, and I was like, oh, where are we going to get creativity? And he was just spraying balls all over the place into the area. It's just amazing. Amazing.
So what a great night then to be a Blue again. City winning 3-0, and I know it's a two-legged tie, and I know that City's still got to go to Germany, and of course I'll be there next week, and I don't want to tempt fate, and of course the tie's not over, but you've got to say, as a Blue, even though we've been through tough times and we never take anything for granted, City look like they're going to go through, don't they, to the semi-finals of the Champions League. And as I'm recording this now, after the game, before Real Madrid play Chelsea, you would think it'd be Real Madrid in the semi-finals. Things are getting very, very exciting. Thanks very much to RRG Group, to Eamar Development UK, and to Timpson for supporting these vlogs, and all to all these great people that contribute, whether they're famous people like Scully and Mike Pickering, or whether they're just ordinary fans like me and you. Isn't it great to be a Blue?